Hey everybody, and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott,
And I'm Ben.
and this is Couchcast number 45. We're coming at you with the hard-hitting stories, such as H3H3 Productions won the lawsuit against the channel that I don't remember the name of off the top of my head. Was
Good job.
the YouTuber Matt Haas. But yeah, first, quick announcement. Next podcast is going to be a recap of PAX. It's going to be
West,
PAX West
specifically.
Yeah. PAX East last year. It's good stuff. Yeah, so not sure what it's going to look like, but probably just like our favorite parts of it and all that. So if you guys aren't able to make it out, let us know in the comments what you would like us to check out while we're there. If you know of anything that is of particular interest to you, and we'll try to take a look. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, so
I'm not feeling very well, so you're going to have to be doing a lot of the talking, I think.
fantastic. No one, like, everyone just comes here to listen to Scott talk because Scott is so articulate in everything he does.
Well,
Don't do this
I
to me.
mean, yeah.
I'm not articulate. I can't say things. Give me 30 minutes to write a podcast out, and I can read that, and it'll sound like I'm reading a script, but it will be worded really well.
Uh-huh.
But just ask me to run a podcast. Good luck to us. I already forgot the YouTube channel's name. Anyway, so to the topic on hand. So to summarize what happened, basically Matt Haas put out a video that garnered a lot of views, and I watched a bit of it. It was called Bold Guy versus Parkour Girl. And from what I can tell is it was sort of a social commentary on how guys treat women in public, I think is what they were going for.
I think so.
Like I said, I didn't watch the entire
That's what
video.
it seemed like.
I wasn't particularly entertained by it, so I didn't watch it all. But yeah, if we'll leave a link to it maybe in the description, or you guys can just search for it. Bullet Guy versus Parkour Girl.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, and I mean, I watched, quote unquote, as much as what you did. I was just listening to it as you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he was shocked anybody made fun of it is kind of disappointing. Because honestly, the acting and everything was so stilted that I don't understand how you could expect it not to be made fun of. Like, I created better shit in high school.
Yeah. No, we'll get into that. I just want to go through the rest of the steps.
Yeah, you want to get through the story before we go on sidetracky shit.
So, H3H3 Productions made a parody video of it because, like Ben said, the acting was poor. So I assume that their video really just made fun of that. And then Matt Haas took exception to that, saying that they copied too much from the original video. And from what I know, the video that H3H3 put up was actually taken down off of YouTube because of this. So I don't know if it's up right now, but
H3H3's version?
Yeah,
they put it back up and it got more views than what it ever had before.
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, tell the internet not to watch a thing and they're only going to want to watch it more.
Right. So basically he filed a lawsuit, and it's been a year's worth of legal battles. And basically the judge said, you know what, it's fair use. Like, it's a critical commentary, and I'm surprised that they didn't say parody, but critical commentary, parody can be that. So Yeah, and basically, this is a big deal for YouTubers in general because it means that like just because you don't like a video, you can't like copyright claim it and say like that. Like you have to have a legitimate reason, and it's in a court of law now. There's precedent.
I mean, yeah, sort of. Technically, anybody can still claim it because fair use isn't something that's just there by default. It's a defense.
Sure.
And you have to then prove that it's fair use. So, I mean, like, if Machinima came after us, we'd be pretty fucked. Because there's no way in hell that we'd be able to afford a lawyer. Even if it was legitimately fair use.
Yeah. No, like,
we'd still be fucked.
I guess, like, yeah. I mean, obviously we would have to fight it in order for the precedent to matter. But, like, it is... Again, like every time we talk about copyright stuff, like I'm always like saying like, oh, it's a step in like this direction or whatever, and I think like this is a step in a direction where, you know, YouTube is like all the stuff that goes into YouTube, like copyright stuff, is more well defined. And I think like it's these little steps. It's not. I don't think there's ever going to be like a landmark case where it's like, okay, everything YouTube related is covered. Right? So like I think all we have are these little steps that get us closer and closer to having an understanding of what's happening and like what is allowed and what's not allowed on YouTube.
I guess. I mean, it is obviously an important step. I'm not trying to deny that, but I feel like the big issue here is that because there is, and for the foreseeable future will always be, a certain amount of like vagueness and or gray area surrounding the issue. It doesn't exactly help people like you and me. Like what needs to happen is that something like a law or basically has to be put into place that would protect people, of all rankings, basically. Because H3H3 and everybody, they had the benefit of being able to afford a lawyer and fight it and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yes, and also Philip DeFranco ran his crowdfunding to help.
Yeah, but that didn't actually do anything.
Are you sure?
Because, they took all that money and basically put it into a fund so that if smaller channels do get hit with something like this, then they can fight it. Okay. Like, they didn't use any of that money, as far as I know.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense.
So, like I was saying, I mean, people like you and I, like, if we got hit with, like, some bogus copyright thing that was going to shut down our channel, I mean, obviously, like, it doesn't super matter because, like, our livelihood isn't staked in our YouTube channel or anything right now.
Yeah.
But if we were at that point, like, let's say we were just, at, like, the cusp of being able to do that, like, 100,000 subs and getting, 10,000 views a day or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would actually equate to livable income or not, but that's, whatever. You get what I'm saying. We obviously wouldn't really be able to afford a lawyer to fight anything like that.
Yeah.
And then we would essentially be screwed. Like, we need to be able to get to a point with copyright that it is not a essentially guilty until proven innocent type of situation.
Yeah.
Like, it should be up to the company claiming to provide enough proof that a judge could call it into question of whether or not it is legitimately fair use. And then it should be up to us to be like, well, no, actually, and essentially come up with a counter argument.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely work. My thoughts would be that, like, if there was enough of these kind of cases, then YouTube could change their policy to match what the laws are saying, and then avoid sort of like premature takedowns like this. Um, like obviously, like it becomes a thing where YouTube is probably never going to do that, because even if precedent's on their side, there's still like the chance that like if they're wrong, then YouTube gets in trouble for allowing the copyright material to stay there. So like I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think that would be ideal. That way, is like it's just dealt with on the platform, and probably quicker than a year-long legal battle. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, the simple fact that copyright as of right now is basically treated as a he said, she said type of thing, and the people the claim is being waged against are basically guilty until proven innocent. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, especially considering the fact that, you know, the American court system is structured around the opposite of that. Yeah. You know, that, you know, you are only, or you're innocent until proven guilty. It seems silly that we essentially have this system that penalizes people unless they are able to prove that they aren't actually doing anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, it shows... I think, like, it's kind of evolved... Like, copyright in particular has evolved that way because of the internet, where before, it was like if you copyrighted something, like, it was a huge, long process to, like, publish it or whatever. Like, if you were, like, copying a book, like, you still had to go through and publish it and all of that. But now with the internet, it's literally just as simple as clicking upload to YouTube, and like it's like what you've stolen basically is on the internet. So like in a way, like it has to be treated quicker than being innocent until proven guilty. So like,
and I mean,
there's a gray area.
I don't know. I mean,
for sure.
I feel like one of the best ways to go about it, and I mean, I know that there are obviously lots of problems with what I'm about to say. I'm not saying
I'm looking
it's
forward
like,
to this.
I'm not saying that it's like a foolproof plan or anything like that, but because I mean, obviously, it's like, you know, there's some like 700 hours of YouTube that are uploaded every minute or something crazy, right?
No, it's a lot.
I mean, if we're gonna go out on a limb and say that even, you know, 10% of those, so like 70, like
70 hours of content, yeah, every minute.
For, you know, every minute, like, God, fucking, I can't think. My brain's all foggy.
Contains copyright material?
Yes. Okay. That's what I was trying to say. This is why I don't do things when I'm feeling under the weather. But, so, like, let's say, you know, 10% of the 700 hours contains copywritten material. Mm-hmm. Their system is good enough that there should be something in place that, you know, because like I'm sure you've looked at copyright claims on our channel before, and it will tell you exactly where it happens and like who's claiming it, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense to me why, with a automated system that can pinpoint so accurately where a claim is falling, why they can't have, you know, like a team of, you know, 200 people or something that just audits those. And like if anything is auto claimed, then they check out where the claim is and then they look at it in context.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying that they necessarily have to watch the entire video, because I mean, if someone uploads like a fucking 2-hour movie, then no, you don't need to watch the whole movie. Yeah. Just, you know, take it down. But like if someone's doing a movie review and they get hit with a claim or something, then maybe you go like, okay, well, you know, this is clearly a fair use thing. Mm-hmm. So take it down. And then, or, you know, or at the very least, like any claims that are manually submitted need to be reviewed by a human.
Mm-hmm. So the issue with that, and like I agree that like, that makes sense, But the issue with that is then doesn't the liability, if YouTube gets it wrong, fall even more so on them? Because they had like an employee look at it. So like human eyes have seen it. It's not like, oh, the algorithm failed. Like we gave our best faith effort. Now it's officially like a person has chosen this for YouTube to say like, oh yeah, this is fine.
Probably technically yes, but copyright law as it stands doesn't factor that into account. So YouTube would still be in the clear.
I think that YouTube, well, okay, I don't know this. I was gonna say I think that YouTube would be at fault, but I don't know. Like I'm not gonna say that, but like I'm gonna sprinkle that idea out there. So if anyone knows whether or not they would be, let us know in the comments.
I mean, I don't think they would be, just simply because they aren't the ones saying yes, this is a valid claim, or no, it's not. And I mean,
but that's what you're saying that they do.
Well, I mean, the way I'm looking at this is there should not be an automated system that is treated like an end all be all. Mm-hmm. There absolutely shouldn't, because automated systems are inherently flawed.
Yeah,
you know, just like humans are inherently flawed, but an automated system specifically can't tell the difference between reporting news and intentional distribution of excessive violence.
Yeah.
You know, like there are entire channels that are dedicated to documenting the war crimes in the Middle East that are occurring on a daily basis. You know, and they do it in a very like educational / storing evidence or even reporting the news kind of way. And those channels are getting DMCA'd left and right and having their channels demonetized and shut down and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so clearly the automated systems that have been built for YouTube aren't working. You know, whether you're looking at it from a violation of terms of service and advertiser friendliness standpoint, or if you're looking at it from a copyright standpoint, their systems do not work.
Yeah.
And I mean, you and I have seen that as full proof with, you know, Time Magazine trying to claim our fucking IDARB video that one time.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I mean, obviously, like, that doesn't really affect us, and there are safeguards against that type of thing slightly now. But an automated system, like I said, should not be given the authority to essentially enact the law.
Yeah.
So, like, YouTube as, you know, essentially a middleman should be able to sit there and be like, okay, you know, we're going to manually review these. And, you know, hell, maybe they manually review them to the extent of like, okay, this is at least suspect, so we're going to send it to the company that claims the copyright, and they have to review it.
Yeah.
Like, even if they go to that extent, like, that's fine, but it shouldn't be a purely automated system, is my point.
Yeah, I got you. I'm trying to find an allegory here, so if you could just keep talking for a little bit longer, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it just doesn't make sense that that automated system or any automated system should basically be the end-all be-all. Because, I mean, especially because there are a lot of companies out there that just throw out, you know, blanket claims, and then they don't monitor anything afterwards. And, you know, I mean, if that's the case, because, I mean, you had the Life is Strange video.
Yeah.
That, according to the developers, you should have been able to dispute that claim. Mm-hmm. And then everything would have been fine. You disputed it, and our dispute was denied.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely stupid. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that, like... And, I mean, this kind of branches into a little bit of a sticky situation with, you know, video games specifically. But, like, frankly, like, and this is just my opinion, I'm sure every musician out there is probably going to crucify me for this. But in my personal opinion, the moment you license out your music to a studio for use in some other way,
yeah,
you are no longer allowed to lay claim to use within that product. So, like, if Taylor Swift had a song that came on during a video game, she would not have any right to claim or otherwise dispute the copyright of any content related to that video game and her song.
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of stupid for a video game company to be like, yeah, you can totally do it. But then, like, you walk by a radio in Fallout 4 and then get fucking DMCA'd by some jackass that's 95 sitting in his mansion for a song from the 50s, Like...
Yeah. I mean, I think on that, there's a couple things that really... this is a whole conversation. I understand why the licensing works the way it works, but I'm not like I see what you mean. I feel like at that point, like, I don't want to spend too much time on this, so I'm just gonna leave this out. Like, the developers should make it clear when they're signing the license that, hey, like, this is gonna happen. Like, people are gonna upload gameplay of this. Like, write it into the contract that, like, hey, you're okay with this being on YouTube.
Sure.
That would be the most ideal. Okay, so I can't corroborate what I heard from my high school government professor or teacher, not professor. Professors at college. But we had a U.S. government class, and we were told about Supreme Court Movie Day. I don't know. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so I can't corroborate that it happens every year. I looked at a few different sources online and searched for it. But Supreme Court Movie Day is from what my teacher told me, is the day that once a year all the Supreme Court justices go into a room and they just watch porn all day to figure out whether or not it's too obscene. The only thing that, like, I can prove that, like, the only thing that is close to that I can find on the internet to confirm that exists is that it was back in the 1960s. Supreme Court justices went in and they did that to decide what was pornography and what wasn't. And that's where we actually get the quote, like, I'll know it when I see it, is what one of the justices said when he was trying to figure out what was too much. And, like,
okay.
Anyway, so where I'm going with this is that I think that the Supreme Court justices need to sit down and watch a bunch of YouTube videos that could potentially, like, that have been copyright claimed, and then decide what is worth, or what is able to be copyright claimed and what is not able to be copyright claimed based on the style of video that it is.
I feel like that's a dangerous suggestion. I mean, not that, like, we're actually, like, putting it forth as, like, yeah, this should totally happen, because, everybody listens to us.
Yeah.
But frankly, I don't know. That seems dangerous just simply from the standpoint that, and this is probably going to come across as, like, a very ageist statement. Mm-hmm. But I feel like YouTube is still too new of a thing that I don't think any current Supreme Court justices would be able to give it a fair assessment.
I mean, I think that I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's the platform that matters in that case. I mean, I think that, for instance, for, like, a movie review, where if you use footage from the movie in your movie review, I think that, like, they can tell that should be okay, right? Like,
sure,
as long as if they're not, like, showing the entire movie, or, like, get, like, even, like, to the extent of, like, spoiling too much of the movie or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I will agree that, like, the short form video review might be like something that they're not used to, and like, I can see what you're saying. And it's not like I'm saying, like, we should just, like, have the Supreme Court do this tomorrow or anything.
Yeah. And that was why I started with what I did.
Yeah. But, like, that might be the way to get more clearly defined terms, is just to have them go do that.
You know what I think? I think YouTube just needs to put on its big boy pants. And obviously, this only works for some channels.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, like, if you can, without a doubt say that, like, any and all content that takes place on your channel is specifically oriented towards either, news or reviews of some sort, or anything that's like, like journalistic.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube should have, like, essentially like a special section or classification of channel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are that type of channel, you fall under that, so that YouTube takes essentially like ownership of your copyright claims. Basically saying that, like, these guys are doing legit work, so they aren't violating the copyright laws in any way. And then, I mean, obviously, like, if there's a clear misstep, like if, Angry Joe said, like, fuck Marvel and posted Iron Man 3 on his YouTube channel, then that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But
mm-hmm.
I feel like YouTube just kind of needs to go, like, okay, like, these guys are actually making, like, content that literally by definition does not violate copyright law, but they get hit with copyright claims all the time. So we're going to say no unless you can prove otherwise. And then, like, you'd have to, like, actually be like a legitimate, like, established channel and say, like, this is why I belong here, and then you would be put under that banner.
Hey, Ben.
Logic is too strong.
No, hold on. I have to say something that might surprise people. I agree. I think that should be how they do it.
Good.
I think that is a fantastic idea. It still puts a little bit of, like, obviously I don't think YouTube will ever do it, but I think that, like, I think that should be how they do it, actually. Like that.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, that type of system would only work with, again, like the more journalistic centered channels and that type of thing. Because I mean, like, you can't really do it with a gaming channel because that's, a massive gray area in and of itself.
Well, I mean, like, I could see it being like you take, like, Philip DeFranco, and and his channel gets marked as a YouTube certified news channel.
Yeah.
And, like, movie review channels like Chris Duckman and Jeremy Johns are certified YouTube reviewers.
Yeah.
And, like, the YouTube certified gaming news or whatever. Like,
yeah, and like Angry Joe and all these other people that like they do news or reviews or something like that. Like, they should be thrown under a banner that basically has YouTube going, like, they're doing legit work. Like, if you can, I think that
people in that group should probably be spot checked. Like,
sure,
as well, like, just to
But I mean, I feel like people that, like, ended up in that group should not fall into the guilty until proven innocent category, and essentially be like, they will never get auto flagged, or if they do, their flags are automatically checked by a human, because I mean, that definitely wouldn't be too much work. And if a company has a legitimate problem with something that was put out, then they have to essentially start the process on their own. Be like, okay, if you think this is an actual thing, then let's do it. But, according to us, according to Google, this person is doing something fine. And I mean, like, let's say in between spot checks, again, like, fucking Angry Joe or Philip DeFranco or somebody said, like, fuck you to Marvel and threw up an entire movie, then that's, like, a completely different issue. Like, if there was a clear violation and, a company was like, hey, and then YouTube checks it and goes like, oh, yeah, you're right, then that's, a different story. Like, I'm not saying that, like, channels like that should be given essentially, like, a free pass. But they should at least be given
a benefit of the
structured
doubt,
right? Like a benefit of the doubt, like essentially a structured safe zone you know, where they can do their fucking jobs and talk about what they want to talk about.
Yeah. All right. I'm not going to ask this question because it's going to lead to a longer conversation. I feel like we're at a good place. We agree for once. There's no yeah, but like we agree. So I want to leave it on a happy note. But at some point, we should talk about how this all would impact the adpocalypse stuff and like what's currently going on with ads and violence and stuff in videos. At some point in the future. No,
yeah, you're right.
No
that
thoughts.
is an entirely different topic of conversation.
We're not gonna say any thoughts about it.
I wasn't gonna give any thoughts. I was agreeing with you, saying
we're agreeing twice in a video. What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is insane.
You are correct. That would be like another 20 minutes of talking, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can say that, you know, anybody who may be wondering, we haven't really been affected by the adpocalypse.
Nope.
But
we're too small.
I think that's yeah. I was gonna say I think that's because we're too small of a channel. Like we're not big enough that they don't want to, you know, piss us off, but we're also not big enough that they want to look at us and maybe curb our content.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we're at a good place. Let us know your thoughts on Ben's idea. I personally liked it. I think that like sort of and like because I feel like there was a time in the early YouTubes where you actually had to become a partner and like you had to prove like that you were worth becoming a partner, but now everyone's a partner. I feel like sort of like kind of bringing that back in a way.
Yeah, because I mean, I think like MCNs are kind of like the new partner, but there's so many out there that are just kind of there for the sake of being there that it doesn't really count.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Again, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, and I guess like in case you didn't see the vlog that came out on Sunday, presumably. Thank you guys for 400 subscribers. Woo! It means a lot to us. Yeah. We'll see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.